Okay, we are back with another video. So today's topic is why I deleted YouTube off my phone. Now, I got a comment saying, "Yo, Unk, where you've been," which, first of all, it's an honor being called Unk. Um, and yeah, where I've been, I've not been on YouTube, obviously. So I want to talk about, is YouTube responsible for, because people talk about like the algorithm and like, oh, they're like trying to suck your attention and like get you to like watch a bunch of videos and like recommend a bunch of very similar videos. And a lot of the times, YouTube is blamed for it, which is true. I mean, they got to take at least 50% of the blame. But when I started becoming a creator, not making these sorts of unedited videos, but like a while ago when I was like thinking about building a YouTube channel around tutorials to teach people how to program and things of this sort, I was thinking very hard about, oh, what should my YouTube video title be? What should my thumbnail be? What's going to get me the most amount of clicks? What's going to, I was just thinking about all that stuff. And I was, watching videos on how to make, stuff viral or whatever. And I learned all these things. And then the really weird part was that when I looked through my own YouTube feed, instead of seeing videos that I wanted to watch, I just started seeing thumbnails and titles and, like that sort of stuff. And then instead of seeing, like what I wanted to see, I was just like, wow, that's a really good title. Wow, that's a really good thumbnail. This is cool. And I was just like, you just, because it's just the infinite scroll, and then I'm just scrolling through it. And then after a while, I'm like, I don't even really want to watch like any of these. I just think that they have like good thumbnails and titles. And then there's also just so many, like, I guess there's not infinite YouTube videos to watch, but there might as well be. And there's so many choices of what to watch, and it's how do you know what's going to be the right one? And then once you watch one YouTube video, then the next one, like what's going to be the next one? And then I also spent like a bunch of time. I spent like more time finding a video to watch. So I'm like eating a bowl of cereal, and I'm like finding a video to watch. And I spend more time finding a video than watching a video. So after a while, I started when I got hired at my new job. I started, I had like a lot less time. But then when I would get home, I like basically never got a break because I would immediately, go on YouTube and try to find something to watch. And the content that I started watching was just like negative content about people going into debt for their cars. Like, apparently, the car market's horrible right now, and people are getting these crazy loans on these cars, and their monthly payments are like ridiculous. Then there's like the repo man coming. And then I was watching, a bunch of videos on like the AI developments and like, these like huge rich people making, just doing ethically questionable things. And I guess just like a bunch of bad news is all that I was watching was just bad news all the time. And I guess I was talking to my mom about my concerns for, AI or people with car payments, people buying things they can't afford. And at the end of our conversation, I guess we kind of both realized like we're like consuming way too much news. Like, we're watching, because she does the same thing, not with YouTube, with Apple News, is sometimes you just go down these rabbit holes of just like consuming a bunch of news all the time, and then you're like informed, but there's a million things to be informed about. Um, and everyone's algorithm looks unique and different. For example, mine was full of like, uh, these people getting into car debt, and also the financial audit guy, Caleb Hammer. That's a good YouTube channel. But I don't know, just looking at these like financial catastrophes, because I guess that was at the forefront of my mind. Now that I have like an actual job, I can start thinking about, how do I want to save, and how do I want to, how much money do I want to spend on food? Do I need to eat out all the time, or do I eat out not at all? Do I do normal groceries, or do I go to Walmart and I get the $1 bread loaf that's the same amount of food as like the $5 bread loaf, but the $5 bread loaf has amazing marketing. Meanwhile, the great value bread loaf is has no marketing, and in fact it has negative marketing because it's like, oh, this is Walmart, like, it's like bottom of the barrel, but at the end of the day it's a loaf of bread. Or do I not even buy bread, just live off of rice and beans? I mean, I don't know. These are the questions I've been asking myself. Um, so, yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought here. Well, I was talking about the YouTube algorithm. Oh, I guess like, oh, why I got rid of YouTube. Um, yeah, so I mean, I've gotten rid of YouTube off my phone before. It's not the first time, but I guess I just did it again. And I'm not uploading as all. I mean, I guess being off of YouTube doesn't affect my upload schedule because I don't have to like consume YouTube content to create. Um, but yeah, I guess it was just like a big like waste of time. I mean, I don't want to call it a waste of time because entertainment is not a waste of time. You're gonna find ways to entertain yourself anyways. Even if you have no forms of entertainment, you might entertain yourself through, your job, or maybe you like driving, right? And then you need to go to the supermarket, so you're gonna drive, and then you're gonna get your entertainment through driving because some people like driving. I like driving. I think driving's fun. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's getting rid of YouTube was just has been about finding alternate forms of entertainment, um, which has been good. I mean, entertainment. I mean, I still use YouTube, but it's like I'm looking for a specific video, like if it's a recipe, um, or if it's like some. Uh, well, I guess what I was about to say could be a topic for another video. But I guess it's about intention, right? Another thing that I hate doing is I hate like scrolling through the TV apps, like finding something to watch. Like I like it when somebody recommends me a movie and I'm like, I'm gonna go watch that movie. And I would rather pay $4 and rent it off, YouTube than have a streaming service and then, feel the need to like use it or else I'm wasting my money. I don't know. That's just me. So yeah, that's where I've been. I've been off of YouTube. The experience out of 10 has been like a 8 probably. I mean, I'm not missing out on anything. Or anything that I am missing out on, it doesn't really affect me. Like my friend told me that the only news that's like pretty relevant or important is like the local news because that's stuff that like directly affects you, but anything like state level or national level or especially international level, like does not affect you in a way that you could justify watching that news. But like geopolitics, politics, like all that, like it's so like I love that stuff. That's why I need to stay away from it because it's just you just spend too much time on it, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So yeah, I guess filling your time with activities that do matter. Um, I think you go out of your way to entertain yourself as well. So I got a car a few months ago now. It's a 2006 Toyota Camry, and it's a salvaged. It has a salvage title, and I've just been doing some preventative maintenance on it. And while doing preventative maintenance, I'm fixing things that aren't broke. I'm breaking things while doing preventative maintenance, and that's been a huge time sink. And it's been frankly, well, not a waste of money, but it's been a hole in my wallet for sure. Just buying tools and doing everything myself. But this is a form of entertainment. This is kind of what I was talking about earlier, in that you'll find ways to entertain yourself through other activities because I like working on my car, and I'm not upgrading it with anything crazy. I'm working on it because it's like broken. I'm not making cool mods or anything. That was my original plan, and now I find myself I just finished changing my coolant, and that was like a whole process, and I'm under my car basically doing things I don't even really need to be doing, but I'm just dumb because I'm just starting out. I replaced the studs and lug nuts because, I broke those on my wheel because I was taking my wheel on and off too many times to change the brake pads. And then I didn't know that the lug nuts have a specific torque, so I was just like, oh yeah, I'll just torque it down as much as I can and I'll be safe. And like now my rotors are warped, so now when I'm driving down a hill really fast, when I go to Santa Cruz and I come back to San Jose, I have to drive down like this huge mountain and my rotors are warped, so my car shakes, and then this is causing other parts of my engine to like slowly get loose over time. So it is what it is, but it's fun, but it also is time that I'm not watching YouTube. And that's not to say that I'm like, the biggest, like I'm not chronically on. I wasn't chronically online before. I just wanted to tone it down to like basically almost zero. And I guess it's weird talking to people my age I guess who like call themselves chronically online, because I find myself relating to like older people at my job more so than I do people my own age, which is weird. Because I don't know. I guess I feel kind of unk, as that one commenter said. There's this one girl that came over here, and I guess it was like kind of like a date, and she spends a lot of time online, and but like totally normal person, would not suspect anything weird about this person at all. And she told me that Gen Z, a lot of Gen Z thinks that Hitler did nothing wrong. And I was like, holy shit. Like, you have just revealed to me what kind of media you consume because, you're only getting fed videos that you watch. So I guess she's like watching that stuff. And I mean, she's not, she's, well, I don't know who my YouTube audience is, but she's not white. She's not white, but so I don't know. I'm just like very conflicted. I'm like, who is this person, and who believes this? But I don't know. I guess that's one example of like how, yeah, like not that the internet can like corrupt you. I guess people kind of corrupt themselves, but I guess the internet can help you corrupt yourself. And that's not to say that what she believes is right or wrong. I don't know. I mean, it's a moral thing, right? I don't. People have different morals or whatever, so maybe hers are different than mine. But I mean, it's at the very least it's strange. At the very least, I feel like it's probably an unpopular opinion. So I don't know. That was weird. I was like, okay, well, there's another example of the internet, getting people to believe, I guess things that aren't like real. Well, I mean, like they are real, but I read this book called Data Nexus, The History of Information Networks. It's a really cool book. It's by the same guy that wrote Sapiens: A Brief History of Humankind, and he's an amazing author. But in that book, Information Networks, he talks about how the internet is kind of like the new the new town square to how we're like before all this existed. People would go to the town square and people would talk and gossip and do like normal social stuff, right? And information spreads like that. But now with the internet, it's different because there's way more people saying way more stuff, and you have access to like all of it. And my cousin was talking to me about, he was giving me an example of how like before it was like very educated people that had a say and that had platforms to talk on. And that's not to say that these educated people are necessarily right. They happen to have gone through more education, whatever that means, right? Because education has its own set of like blinders on. But at least they were educated. But now it's like I mean, he told it to me in French, so, like the translation isn't, that good. But, basically now he's saying like now like any village idiot can get online and just start running their mouth, and people will actually listen is the thing, because, if they speak with confidence, they can gain a following. And I mean, I guess there's always been charlatans that have always existed. Like before the internet, there's always been people selling snake oil or spreading rumors, or doing things that aren't true. Like the witch trials is a pretty interesting case study of a mass psychosis of something that didn't even exist. That was crazy. So yeah, I mean, YouTube and the spread of information, and this is why I make these videos of this style, because I guess it's really more, I don't know if this is like for you guys, my audience, or if I do these for myself. I don't really know why, but I guess it's just fun to hey, be the village idiot with talking about something. I don't know, but either way, I don't try to make it clickbaity. I don't like editing. I mean, first of all, like it kind of rubs me the wrong way now when videos are like overly edited. It's like I'm like, whoa, like why are there so many cuts and all this? And it's like it seems like too perfect, and so something about that I don't like. And also I'm lazy. Like I hate editing. When I started my YouTube channel for the whole tutorial related content I was doing, I spent so much time editing, and it was soul sucking, and it sucked. And I know that, it garners more views because if you edit your videos correctly, the attention span of people, it lasts longer, and then, people watch more, it's more engaging, it's more interesting. There's a wider reach, right? If you make your thumbnails, right? And there's a whole argument to be made that like, well, if what you say is really important, then, you should try to make it more easily accessible to people. But this ties back into what I was talking about at the beginning of the video, where I was asking the question, is YouTube responsible for, people getting, people being terminally online because the algorithm is like very addicting, or are the creators to blame too? Okay, I actually don't know if I mentioned that part at the beginning, but that was an important part. Is that should the creators be blamed for like internet chronic online addiction, right? Because if YouTube existed and creators didn't exist, then that wouldn't work. But if creators are specifically tailoring their content to make it easily digestible and all that, I mean, they have to take some blame to a certain extent to how to how YouTube is like like addicting or whatever. And like a few days before I deleted YouTube off my phone, I started looking into this, into being like, why is YouTube boring now? Why is the internet boring now? Like why am I bored? And of course, it shouldn't be a surprise, but there is a whole YouTube channel dedicated to exactly the sorts of questions that I'm asking right now, which was crazy. The guy was, and I didn't watch any of the videos because I told myself, look, I'm falling right back into the rabbit hole. It's like I'm asking myself these questions, so why would I go watch these videos answering my questions? It's like I don't need to know that. I don't need to spend more time, clicking on these videos and watching them. So I don't really know what he has to say, but I found that surprising that there's someone that has answered my exact questions right now. But his thumbnails, this is the crazy part, his thumbnails, his video titles were, like, I could tell that they were, like, well thought out. And that they were made to, like, garner attention and get you to click on it. And I know that because I felt like I wanted to click on it. And, it wasn't some boring video with a boring title. Now, I'll admit, like, my past 3 videos, the best advice my coach ever gave me, is that the best advice my coach ever gave me? I mean, probably it would be hard to, like, measure empirically what is the best advice my coach ever gave me. That was, like, the most memorable advice my coach ever gave me. I guess that would be a more appropriate title. Then I have another one called Why There's Always Someone Faster Than You. I mean, I feel like that's appropriate. Can bad technique hold you back in life? I don't know. I'm looking at my own titles now. I mean, my titles before this were definitely more boring. Day 29, talking to a camera. Day 28, talking to a camera. I mean, I guess I need to put some kind of title on this. Or I could make these videos like book titles where like the book is called, The Phantom Toll Booth. And like that doesn't tell you anything about the book. Or the book is called, A Song of Fire and Ice. That doesn't really tell you anything about the book. I mean, I guess that's why books have covers and why YouTube videos have thumbnails. But yeah, anyways, that was just kind of my rant for today, about where I've been. I'm still gonna be uploading kind of just whenever I have something to say, I guess. Right now, I'm currently procrastinating an application for the DMV, as I need to get a California driver's license because I have an expired Florida license. So I thought, what better time to make a YouTube video than not wanting to fill out a stupid form. I mean, it's the easiest thing in the world. It's a form, and then they ask you some questions, and then you just put the answers in, and then you click submit. But I don't know. There's something about it. Don't really feel like doing it, but I'm going to go do it now because I don't have anything else to say about the topic. So thank you guys for watching. As always, like and subscribe because I'm a YouTube creator at the end of the day, and I'm just kidding. Do whatever you want. But I do hope you guys enjoy this, and I'm always happy to see comments and just people being like, "Yo, Unc, where you've been?" It means a lot. All right. Take it easy, guys, and I will see you next time.